and welcome back to a Fortnight on the Isle, my bi-weekly update series for the channel for a video that's actually being recorded a little bit earlier than normal. I hope the holiday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend a couple of weeks ago went well for you all. Everything for me this entire fortnight essentially has been very busy, we'll say. I got essentially all of December's videos and whatnot taken care of ahead of time, so that feels pretty good, but that took the vast majority of my time of the last couple weeks. And as I foreshadowed, I guess, a little bit earlier, I'm getting this Fortnite on the Isle video done a little bit early as well. I'm recording this on Thursday. Normally I record these videos on Friday. That is because tomorrow I will be heading over to Salt Lake City. I'll be taking a trip out of town, and I'll be out of town all weekend. Thus, today is the only day that I can actually really work on this video. So that'll explain some things being a little bit out of date, most notably at the end of the video, which we will discuss in due time. No need to worry. I was actually thinking maybe I would do the Fortnite on the Isle in the hotel room this time around on like Friday or Saturday. Just do that and then basically upload a raw file, but I figured that was, you know, a little bit silly when I could just do it a little bit early, especially since I have done these updates a little bit early in the past and it not been too big of a deal. But aside from, you know, just kind of working on stuff the last couple weeks, I've also been super busy trying to prep some stuff both for the channel and whatnot for the new year, including how Lane and I are going to be doing some stuff now together, just hanging out because he's moving out of town, and also because we might want to make a resurgence of the podcast happen at some point, so that might happen. We've been trying to plan some things that way. I also think I might be streaming a little more on the second channel in the new year because of that. I think he and I are going to game sometimes online, and that be the way that we hang out, and we just do it as game streams because he's done streaming on YouTube a lot in the past, and I would like to be able to do it more in the future. None of that is really here nor there. Let's just jump into the bi-weekly reading, because aside from being busy with all of that other stuff, I have been reading a ton the last couple weeks as well, like a lot. I didn't actually grab any of the books for this because I'm an absolute dummy, so let me do that real quick. The first thing that I did in the reading sphere the last couple of weeks was I did finish A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller Jr. Last time I recorded one of these videos, I had only read part 1, which I enjoyed quite a lot and thought was very good. Part 2, I would say, was on par with part 1 to the point that I think I actually prefer part 2 because the thematic quality, the theological and narrative themes are both very strong throughout the entirety of this book. I didn't like part 3 as much. Part 3 was a little bit weaker and really brought down the book for me in the end. I still gave it a 4 out of 5, but if it was just parts 1 and 2, this would be basically a 6 out of 5 for me. That's how much I enjoyed those first 2 parts. But yeah, I really enjoyed A Canticle for Leibowitz, even if part 3 let me down a little bit. But I thought that those first 2 parts were easily worth reading, and would basically recommend that book to anybody who is inherently interested in it. If you want a little bit more information on that, I think we'll get to that a little bit later in this video, and maybe I'll prove myself wrong. The next thing that I read after finishing A Canticle for Leibowitz was I read another short and a definitely easier book, The Great Train Robbery, the third book in this collection by Michael Crichton. I thought The Great Train Robbery was good, it was decent, it was fun, it was entertaining, even if it wasn't spectacular. It definitely didn't wow me in any way. There were a couple moments that really caught me off guard, but more in like a wow, I just learned something that I didn't know, which is kind of crazy type of thing, rather than like a, you know, this book was absolutely phenomenal type of way. I think The Great Train Robbery is a great popcorn read, and if you want to know more of my thoughts on that one, I believe a review for that comes out whenever it is. It's a week after my review of A Canticle for Leibowitz, so that is something if you want more information on that. The main thing that I've been working on, however, the last like week and a half, well, at the time that I'm recording this, it's been about a week. It's been 7 days. Today is the 7th day that I've been reading this book. By the time you're seeing this, it'll have been about a week and a half. That is Wrath by John Gwynne, fourth and final book in The Faithful and the Fallen. I'm a significant chunk of the way through. I believe I'm right around 64% or something like that, give or take, somewhere between 60 and 64% of the way through the book, and I have been having an amazing time, just the same way that Valor flew by for me, and I was able to finish that very quickly. Wrath is going by for me. By the time this video releases, I would guess that I'm not going to be done with it by the time this video releases, because of my trip to Salt Lake, and that kind of stuff always screws up the logistics of reading time and whatnot. In fact, the last couple times I've taken trips out of town, I've done a literally 0 reading. I think that'll be different this time around, but you never know. Things could definitely not go my way, and it might not be able to finish this book this weekend. But I think by the end of Monday, so by the end of tomorrow, at the time of this video's release, I think I'll be finished with Wrath. If not for the Salt Lake trip, I would actually probably be finished with this by the time the video came out. But the point is, this book's been going by really quickly for me. I've really, really enjoyed it. I think I like it just as much as Valor, maybe even a little bit more, despite one particular issue that I have with this, which I'll explain in a review for it at some point eventually, probably in February, whenever it is that the review comes out, maybe January if it's lucky. But it's been amazing. I've really enjoyed it. I've had a great time with Wrath, and I cannot wait to read more. I cannot wait to finish it, quite frankly, because I'm very anxious to see what happens. The other main thing that I've been reading for the last couple days is one of the volumes is up there, but I have been reading more Monster. Not only did I finish volume 4, I have also started and read several chapters of volume 5. I'm very nearly the end of the Munich arc in this series, so I only have just like 3 or something, 3-4 chapters left in the arc that I'm currently in. And I think I'm going to stop there for the weekend, stop at that arc, and then I'll pick this up again next week. Maybe I'll read this over the weekend while I'm in Salt Lake. I'm not entirely sure, but I've been really enjoying it. This arc, basically all of volume 4 with a couple chapters at the end of volume 3, and obviously the first half of volume 5 has been splendid. I've really enjoyed this arc. It's been really good and really surprising to me. It's been very consistent as well, which has been amazing. I've been very happy with the consistency of it. I can't wait to finish this arc. Anxious to see how that ends as well. For the bi-weekly writing, well, there's been a little bit of good progress in a couple of areas. One of those areas is, once again, womp womp, not the Reign of Ash sequence. 0 words once more, but I actually thought about doing it. I would have done some of that stuff at work this week, but I've been too busy prepping a bunch of video stuff for this month and next month, like end of year type of stuff, this month's videos, and then also been dealing with logistics of doing the trip this weekend. That actually took quite a bit of time on a couple days when I was actually planning on getting back to doing Reign of Ash stuff. And then I've been way too busy otherwise at home because of preparing videos, editing videos and stuff, especially this week, to even think about working on the Reign of Ash. Maybe this weekend while I'm out of town, I'll be able to work on it a little bit, depending on if I'm free for any amount of time. And the couple days that I'm going to be there, I am going to be free for the majority of the day, I think, each time. And if that is the case, then maybe I'll actually get some work done for once in my life. It would definitely be nice if I could do so. But even if I didn't get anything done in the Reign of Ash this fortnight, I did get 2,300 words written for book reviews, 900 of which were for Ruin by John Gwynne, 1,250 of which were for A Canonical for Leibowitz, and 800 of which were for the Andromeda Strain. So I got all of those reviews written. I don't think any of those 3 reviews are particularly good after basically a couple months off from writing reviews, because I hadn't really finished reading any books to have to write any. That's kind of how things went. So I think they're fine reviews, but not my best, I would say. And then I also wrote 250 words for volume 4 of Monster, very briefly reviewing that, kind of the way that I've been very briefly reviewing all of the volumes up to this point. Didn't write any words for anything film related. I actually wrote down that I wrote 0 words for anything music related, but that would be a lie. I've written about, if this were to be an accurate word count, I would say it's probably about 1,000-ish words for music stuff, and that is because I am currently in the midst of compiling my album of the year 2024 blog, so a video that will probably come out end of January, early February or so, come the new year, because I have to re-listen to several of those albums and actually order some stuff and get it in. I've been writing the preliminary material for that, actually preparing it a bit, a little bit early. So like I said, about 1,000 words ish. I guess I'll say 1,000 words plus, because it's probably 11 or 1,100 or so. Not entirely sure, like I said, but I have been working on that. I actually was working on that a little bit today, in some downtime at work, because it wasn't very mentally difficult to do. I was just looking at the albums that I had listened to and jotting down notes, basically, is what I was doing. And then I also wrote another 1,300 or so words for The Last of Us Part 2, a critical analysis. But again, right now I'm still just taking notes, because I played a little bit more of that. We'll discuss that a little bit later. Just about 1,300 words added for that notes, which means that the notes for that is over 2,600 words at this point, which is kind of scary, because that's basically all just notes. That none of that is actual script material, which is absurd to me. That thing is going to be a very long review, and I'm kind of excited but also very scared to see what that ends up being like in the end. For the coming releases, videos that I have coming out on my couple of channels over this coming fortnight. On Tuesday, the 10th of this month, I have my video review for Ruin by John Gwynn coming out. That will be this Tuesday. This Thursday, on the 12th of the month, is going to be my 200 episode special sort of thing going on, where I'm ranking my Goodreads favorites shelf. That video actually didn't turn out quite as good as I thought it would be, but it's still an intriguing video. It's nearly an hour long though, so if you're in for that, I apologize for the length. I just don't know when to stop rambling when I'm talking about books, but in my defense, I also was talking about like 40 books in that one. So it's no surprise that it ended up being quite lengthy. So that is coming out on Thursday. Next Sunday, on the 15th, is going to be my review for The Crying of Lot 49 by Thomas Pynchon, a book that I read back in February of 2024 and just completely forgot to do a video review for somehow. No idea how that managed to slip my mind or get past my memory, my RAM, so to speak. But The Crying of Lot 49 was a book I had a lot of fun with, and that video review is actually one of my favorite video reviews that I've done this year, if not entirely, on the channel. I had a fun time reviewing that one. I thought it was good. I think it's actually good quality. So I recommend people to watch that review. That'll be out next Sunday. Next Tuesday, I was correct. On the 17th will be my video review for A Canticle for Leibowitz. So if you want to know a little bit deeper some of my thoughts on that more specifically, and who and where / when I would recommend that too, check out that video next Tuesday. Then on the 19th, next Thursday, will be a top 5 video. Classics I'll read in 2025. So basically a precursor to another video coming later this month, hint hint nudge nudge, where I talk about 5 classic novels that I've been really anticipating reading and have kind of been on my pile of shame for a solid amount of time. Most of them, actually all of them, have been on my pile of shame for quite a while now. Not the 2 honorable mentions, but they're honorable mentions for a reason. The actual 5 on the list have been there for quite a while, and finally going to get to them next year. That's why I titled it 5 Classics I Will Read in 2025, and I hope I don't make a liar of myself come this time next year. On the second channel, I don't have any special videos scheduled or planned out this time around, but I will have the normal Kingdom Hearts 2 Let's Play videos coming out on each Friday. So on the 13th and the 20th, which will be episodes 20 and 21 respectively, and revisiting the Pride Lands, that world, and then also revisiting Twilight Town again respectively. This time basically just wrapping up the mid-game section of the game, leading up to the finale, leading up to the little final portion of it. So that is what is going on there. Just a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 2 stuff. But speaking of Kingdom Hearts 2, let's move into entertainment talk. Josh and I did finish playing that a couple of weekends ago, and thank goodness we were able to do that then, because I did not have time last week because of preparing videos, and I'm not going to have time this week because of being out of town. So all of the Let's Play episodes for that series actually are ready to go. Those should be coming out all the way until like January 17th or something, because those come out every Friday. So I have about a month, maybe upwards of a month and a half from the time that I'm recording this video, where Let's Play videos are taken care of, where I don't actually have to deal with anything else. I have another Let's Play recorded that I might get edited and uploaded in the meantime, just so that there's something there in the rotation while Josh and I still figure out what we're going to be doing next together, whether it's going to be like Zelda stuff through Nintendo Switch Online, or if it's going to be doing more Kingdom Hearts stuff. We haven't really decided yet. We haven't talked about that quite yet. We're going to figure that out soon, but for now, we're just glad to be done with Kingdom Hearts 2. I spent about 26 hours with that, maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit less depending on how things went. I forget the exact time off the top of my head, but I had a fun time with that game. And if you like Let's Play videos, definitely check out that series. Besides Kingdom Hearts 2, I have been playing a little bit more, continuing The Last of Us Part 2 on New Game Plus. Now my second run, my New Game Plus run of it, is at about 17 or so hours, and just about all of that time happened on Thanksgiving or prior. Is basically how that went down. That is where all that time has gone. I finished the half of Ellie's time spent in Seattle, so day 3 of Ellie. I'm just starting the Abby part of the game on New Game Plus. Because of the Salt Lake trip this weekend, I won't be able to play any of that this weekend, but I think I should be able to finish the New Game Plus run of The Last of Us 2 this month pretty easily. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to continuing to write more notes and seeing just how many thousands of words of notes I have by the time I'm done with that, by the time I'm starting the no return mode. But let's move into music talk, which is basically the portion that will be, a little bit inaccurate because of the time that I'm recording this. A lot of music releases happen on Fridays, so because I'm recording this on Thursday, there's going to be some things on this section this week that are going to be not there because I don't know that they're out or something like that. So, let's just talk about the very few releases there are. First off, let's talk about the singles. There are 3 singles that I wanted to talk about. First one is The Raven Age released a new single called The Guillotine, which I enjoyed a good bit. I think The Raven Age is a very good starter metal band. I think this is going to be one that I think a lot of up-and-coming metalheads are going to enjoy and fall in love with, and that acts as a sort of gateway because they have like 100% clean vocals. I don't know if they actually have any unclean vocals in any of their music up to this point. It makes it very approachable for people who aren't into that kind of thing. So people who like some of the more interesting musicality that just basic heavy metal can get into. The Guillotine is itself as a single a great example of that. Dream Theater released a second single for an upcoming album, I'm supposing, called A Broken Man, and Breakdown of Sanity, because I completely forgot they had a return a couple years back. They haven't dropped a single in a while. They released a new single called Perfect Enemy. These 2 songs I haven't listened to quite yet. I was supposed to do that before I recorded this video, but I completely forgot to. But those 2 singles exist and they're out there, but that is basically all that's notable that as actually released in the last couple of weeks. Tomorrow, an album by Chugaboom called Trust Me, I'm Still a Proctologist, because this band is very memey and very just kind of jokey. I love the kind of attitude they have with their music. It's so fun in that way. The album's coming tomorrow. I've only listened, I think, to 1 of the singles they've released for it so far. There's only 8 tracks on the album. Obviously, I haven't listened to the album yet because it doesn't come out till tomorrow, but I know it comes out tomorrow, so that exists. I'll be listening to that while I'm out and about, and I'm also going to be listening to a few albums that I've missed over the course of the year for the album of the year list next year. But I do want to note at the end of this one, even though there will be one more Fortnight on the Isle video for 2024, the music talk section in these videos I think is going to be disappearing in 2025. Instead, I'm going to be moving this section to be its own kind of dedicated thing on the second channel. I've debated doing like a Music Mondays kind of thing, which is a lot of why all of like my music blog stuff, like discography rankings and album reviews and all of that kind of stuff, comes out on Mondays on the second channel, because I was like, oh, Music Mondays, that's kind of a cool idea, I guess. So that's why I've been doing that, but it was never really an official type of thing. Now I think I'm going to do an actual Music Mondays thing where it's like a weekly roundup of the music that I've been listening to, some of the new music releases that I've been paying attention to, that I've listened to, talking about some of that, being able to do it in a more fully fleshed out format. Because originally I was thinking the music talk section would be staying on Fortnite on the Isle, and I would talk about things more in depth by including images over on this side over here with the actual album covers and titles and stuff like that, actually putting in a little bit more effort into these videos to make them a little better. But then I was like, well, no, if I'm going to do that, why relegate it to Fortnite on the Isle, just make it its own thing on the second channel. Then I have a consistent music based content over there every week, as well as consistent gaming stuff over there every week on Fridays, that kind of offset each other and kind of make both audiences that can subscribe to that channel a little bit happier. So that's what I'm going to do for now. I've already talked about the music here. I'm going to do another music talk in the next Fortnight on the Isle as well, but the week after that I'm going to be starting to do the weekly music roundup thing on the second channel and figure out the format for that in the meantime. So that'll be something that's very exciting. But because I've been going on a little bit longer than I think I intended to in this video, I'm going to go ahead and cut that there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it if you did. I'll be back in the next video, like I mentioned earlier, with the review for Ruin by John Gwynn. I hope that has a good reception, just like the first two videos have. But like I said, I'm going to get out of your face now. Thank you for watching. I'll be back in the next video, and I just hope to see you there.